السلام
السلام
عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. شكرا.
أبا عبد الرحمن، كيف الحال؟
الحمد لله يا شيخ خالد.
نبدأ الدرس.
نعم شيخ خالد.
إن الحمد لله نحمده وسيئات أعمالنا، من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. أما بعد, in continuation of our studies regarding the life of Āishah al-Mu'minin radiyallahu anha, we are reading from the book Siyar A'alām An-Nubala by Imām Adh-Dhahabi rahimahullah Abu Abdullah. We are reading from his work Siyar A'alām An-Nubala. We had discussed variously about the lineage of our mother Āishah radiyallahu anha, about her background, about her virtues, about her dealings with the women inside the house of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, about how the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam also related with her considering her young age radiyallahu anha, how much she learnt from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that she did so much that some of the scholars say that ruwiya anha rubu'u ilmi din, that a quarter of the knowledge of this religion, 1/4, if you take all the knowledge of this deen, if you put it into 4 places, the entirety of the knowledge of Islam, put it into 4. Āishah radiyallahu anha alone has reported 1 part from 4 out of 4 parts from the knowledge of this religion radiyallahu anha. We also read previously how the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam related with her so friendly, so nice, so cautiously. Sometimes when she watched the Abyssinians radiyallahu anha, Banu Arfida, she would watch them in the masjid playing with their war armaments. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam will just cover her, standing behind, in front of her door, and she standing behind him, placing her neck on the Prophet's shoulders and resting her cheek to the cheek of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. And she said radiyallahu anha regarding that wa ana anzuru ilayhim hatta akuna ana as'amu, ana anzuru ilayhim, I'll be watching the play until akuna ana allati as'amu, I will be the one who will become tired, because the Prophet will be patient with me. In some reports, she said radiyallahu anha, that even when the Prophet wanted to leave, she would say radiyallahu anha, La ta'jal ya Rasulallah, don't be in a haste now, O Messenger of Allah, because radiyallahu anha ahabbat an yabluga nisa'u maqamuha aw maqamuhu minhu aw minha. She lakinni ahbabtu an yabluga nisa'a maqamuhu li. I want the women to hear about the Prophet standing, waiting for me. In the first expression, I want the women to know my status and my rank before the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So all of these go to talk about how she enjoyed her marriage with the Prophet ﷺ, and how her husband, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, also enjoyed the marriage with her, radiyallahu anha. But like we said in the last class, everything that we enjoy, every favor of Allah comes with a trial. Every favor comes with a trial. If you enjoy a favor of Allah, wait for the trial that will come connected to that favor. A trial came for her, radiyallahu anha, connected to the favor of being married to the best of men. That she was married to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was a big favor to her. Imagine a woman, young girl, married to Sayyidu Waladi Adam, the leader of all the descendants of Adam. They have an head, they have a leader, they have a Ra'as. Who was that? Muhammad ibn Abdullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And then that young girl happens to be the most beloved person to him. Each of these is a big virtue. That you are married to the Prophet of Allah, Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, is a big virtue. That you are the most beloved wife of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam was a big virtue. Amongst the virtues that Āishah enjoyed, radiyallahu anha. So when the fitna came, the trial, when it came in connection to her husband, the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. And that trial is what has happened to be called in the history of Islam as Al-Ifk. The trial that Āishah faced, radiyallahu anha, that shook her marriage, that shook her husband, and that moved the whole of the Muslims. It moved us. And there was no time that we would have to talk about that narration, except that we all will be moved. And that was a trial that Āishah radiyallahu anha faced. Imām Adh-Dhahabi, in this book, Siyar A'alām An-Nubala, in this print by Mu'assasatul Risala, in this print that we read from, that also occurs on the screen. That is the print of Mu'assasatul Risala. We are reading from volume 2, page 153. We are reading from volume 2, page 153 of Siyar A'alām An-Nubala by Al-Imam Al-Hafiz Al-Dhahabi, rahimahullah, Abu Abdullah, discussing the trial of our mother Āishah, radiyallahu anha. He titled this Sha'nul Ifk, the occurrence, the event of Al-Ifk. What does it mean to say Al-Ifk? Ifk means a big, clear lie. When you say Ifkun, what does it mean? A big, clear, slanderous lie. When someone lies against you, it is referred to as Al-Ifk. So here, Al-Imam Adh-Dhahabi says, Sha'nul Ifk. What happened? The occurrence of Al-Ifk. That was a trial that our mother Āishah, about whom we are reading in this halqa to Āishah. She had a trial. She was slandered, radiyallahu anha. That is what Al-Imam Adh-Dhahabi in this book, Siyar A'alām An-Nubala, he has titled it as Sha'nul Ifk, the event of Al-Ifk, the event of the slander, the event of the big lie that was told against our mother, Āishah bintu Siddiq, radiyallahu anha. So Al-Imam Adh-Dhahabi in page 153 of this print, he said, رحمه الله كان في غزوة المريسيع كان الإفك في غزوة المريسيع. The evil of the slander al-ifk against our mother Āishah, it happened when they were returning from Ghazwatu al-Muraysi'. What does al-Muraysi' mean? Muraysi' is the name of one of the tribes. It's the name of one of the wells, water points. They have Banu Khuza'a. They have a water point. They have a well. Banu Khuza'a. They had what? They had a well. That well is called what? Al-Muraysi'. So Muraysi' is the name of a well belonging to what? To who? Which tribe? Banu Khuza'a. And Banu Khuza'a, they are the basic source tribe of Banu Mustaliq. Banu Khuza'a is the mother tribe for who? Banu Mustaliq. So Banu Khuza'a, they have a well. What is the name of that well? Muraysi'. So when Banu Mustaliq wanted to fight a battle with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Banu Mustaliq, their head was Al-Harith ibn Abi Dirar. Al-Harith ibn Man? Ibn Abi Dirar. That is the father of the wife of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Juwayriyah. So that was why she is Juwayriyah bintul Harith. Juwayriyah bintul Harith. That Harith, he was the head of Banu Mustaliq. He had gathered an army. Al-Harith ibn Abi Dirar had gathered an army against the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And when he had فلما بلغ الحارث ومن معه مسير الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم إليهم خافوا خوفا شديدا. When they got aware that the Prophet had known that they were coming to attack him, and the Prophet was ready to go out of Medina. It happened many times. Non-Muslims would gather to come and fight the Prophet inside Medina. Alayhi salatu wasalam. Whenever he had, he prepared, he did not allow them to bring the war into his own city. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He would rather prepare an army and move to meet them on the road before they came into the city of Medina against him. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So when he heard of the battle that Al-Harith ibn Abi Dirar, the father of Juwayriyah, had already gathered an army against him. At that time, he had not married Juwayriyah, radiyallahu anha. And that was why the marriage of Juwayriyah happened afterwards. Because when they ran away, the Muslims went and they took a lot of people as slaves, captives, the prisoners of war. And then they had booties too. When the booties were distributed, one of the captives who was distributed during that time was who? Juwayriyah, who was a daughter of the head of those people, Banu Mustaliq, who had gathered with other tribes to fight against the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. But when they heard that the Prophet was marching towards them, khafu khawfan shadida, وَتَفَرَّقَ عَنْهُمْ مَنْ كَانَ مَعَهُ مِنَ الْعَرَبِ. So they were so scared and afraid because they only wanted to meet the Prophet unawares. When they got aware that he is now aware, he has also gathered an army and he was also coming to fight them, they ran away with those who had gathered with them. The Muslims went and then they had 11 booties the war during that Ghazwa. They had booties. One of those who came as a booty was Juwairiya. Now, Juwairiya radiallahu anha, in her own case, she was distributed to Thabit ibn Qais ibn Shammas. Thabit ibn Qais ibn Shammas was the one to whom Juwairiya was distributed as from the captives, as from the POWs from that battle. So when he got her, he agreed to set her free, that she will be paying the price for her freedom gradually over time. And then later on, she approached the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. I'm talking about Juwairiya bintul Harith, whose father was the head of Banu Mustalik. Don't forget. So Juwairiya radiallahu anha approached the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. تستعينه في كتابتها. She came to ask for the Prophet's help about being able to pay off her boss, being able to pay off her Sayyid, so that she becomes a freeborn. So when she did that, this narration was reported by our mother, radiallahu anha, Āishah. Āishah said, "Oh Wallahi, that she swore by Allah when she saw that Juwairiya came to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam." Our mother Āishah described Juwairiya as كانت امرأة حلوة ملاحة. She was imra'atun mulhatun. She was a beautiful woman, mulaha, who had a nice physical look. If you look at her, our mother Āishah said, no one saw Juwairiya except that person was interested in marrying her if you were a man. So she said when she saw that Juwairiya approached the Prophet to help her pay for her freedom with Thabit ibn Qais ibn Shammas, she knew that the Prophet was going to marry Juwairiya radiallahu anha. So I'm just talking about Banu Mustalik. The head of them was the father of Juwairiya radiallahu anha, who later became one of the wives of the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salam. So the Prophet offered her, the messenger offered her, I will pay for you, I will make you become free, then I will marry you. So yes, I agree. So the Prophet prayed for her freedom, got her free, she became a freeborn, and then the Prophet married her. That also happened the same year of Ifk. The marriage of Juwairiya happened in the year of Ifk. And it was when they were returning from Banu Mustalik that Al-Ifku against Āishah occurred. Radiallahu anha. So Imām Adh-Dhahabi said, كان في غزوة المريسي. Al-Ifk happened during the battle of what? Muraysi. I hope we know what Muraysi means. Muraysi is the name of a well belonging to Banu Khuza'a. And Banu Khuza'a is the mother tribe of Banu Mustalik. So that's why that battle, Ghazwatu al-Muraysi, is also called what? Ghazwatu Bani Mustalik. Ghazwatu al-Muraysi is also called what? Ghazwatu Bani Mustalik. So if we say Muraysi, we are talking about the name of that their well, that's their water point. So when they say Banu Mustalik, we are talking about their tribe. Banu Mustalik, they are the owners of that well called Al-Muraysi. I hope that it is clear. Al-Imām Adh-Dhahabi said, كان في غزوة المريسي. Al-Ifk occurred during the time of Al-Muraysi, سنة 5 من الهجرة. That happened in the 5th year of Hijrah. Some scholars say it was in the 5th year of Hijrah. As you will see here, as Al-Imām Adh-Dhahabi said. Others say it was in the 6th year of Al-Hijrah, and that appears most authentic. Allahu Alam, because of the evidences connected to that. Some say it was the 5th year, like Al-Imām Adh-Dhahabi, as is in this book, Siyar A'alām An-Nubala. But others say that it was in the 6th year of Hijrah. One of those who had that view was Al-Imam Muhammad ibn Ishaq ibn Yasar, Sahib al-Maghazi, and others amongst the scholars, whether it was in the 5th year or it was in the 6th year of Hijrah, that Al-Muraysiyah occurred, and of course that Al-Ifku occurred against our mother, Āishah, radiallahu anha. And that was in the Sha'ban, the 6th year of Hijrah. وعمرها رضي الله عنها يومئذ 12 سنة. And the age of our mother during that time was 12. The age of our mother, Āishah, was 12. So if you say Muraysiyah or Ifk occurred in the 5th year of Hijrah, she would be about 12 years old. If you say it occurs in the 6th year of Hijrah, she will be how many years old? About 13 years old. Radiallahu anha. So Imām Adh-Dhahabi goes on to tell us. So our mother Āishah was about 12 or 13 years old when this ifk occurred against her. Radiallahu anha. Imām Adh-Dhahabi said, فروى حماد بن زيد عن معمر والنعمان بن راشد عن الزهري. Hamad ibn Zayd, one of the scholars of Islam and one of the people upon the Sunnah, Hamad ibn Zayd, rahimahullah, he was reporting from his Shaykh Ma'amar, that was Ma'amar ibn Rashid al-Yamani, who was reporting from his Shaykh Az-Zuhri, rahimahullah. And Nu'man ibn Rashid also reported it from Az-Zuhri. So Ma'amar ibn Rashid and Nu'man ibn Rashid, Ma'amar ibn Rashid and Nu'man ibn Rashid, both of them reported it from Al-Imam Az-Zuhri. And Az-Zuhri is Muhammad ibn Muslim ibn Shihab ibn Az-Zuhri, who was reporting it from Urwa ibn Zubayr. I'm sure we remember Urwa ibn Zubayr. That's the younger brother of Abdullah ibn Zubayr from Asma'u bint Abi Bakr as-Siddiq. And don't forget that both Abdullah and Urwa, both of them lived inside the house of Āishah. So you'll always have Urwa reporting from Āishah about especially the personal affairs of Āishah, radiyallahu anha. So Urwa ibn Zubayr and Āishah radiyallahu anha. Urwa ibn Zubayr reports from Āishah radiyallahu anha anna an-nabiyya sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam kana idha arada safaran aqra'a bayna nisa'ihi. Whenever the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam wanted to make a journey, إذا أراد سفرا أقرع بين نسائه, يعني ضرب القرعة. ضرب القرعة is called what? They will say أقرع بين نسائه. He made al-qur'a. What does al-qur'a mean? He would cast a lot. Whenever the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam wanted to make a journey, he would cast a lot. That was because more than one person inside the house was qualified for that journey. Al-Imam al-Qurtubi, Abu Abbas, in Al-Mufhim, his sharh on Sahih Muslim, he said this would not happen if there were no people. If, for example, you have two women, one of them was suitable for the journey. Maybe she was not pregnant. One of them was not suitable for the journey. So the one who was not suitable for the journey will be selected for the journey. But if more than one person was suitable for the journey, for the purpose of the journey, you thought about the journey, during this journey, we want to achieve so. And all the persons were equally interested, equally qualified for that journey. Then in that case, you make darbu al-qur'ah, darbul qur'ah. You cast a lot. So because the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, he had wives radiyallahu anhunna, and all of them were equally qualified for that journey. فَيَضْرِبُ الْقُرْآنَ. So he will make what? Darbul Qur'a aqra'a bayna nisa'ihi. He will cast a lot to determine who was qualified. And casting a lot is from the Sunnah of Islam. The scholars say if we want to observe Salah, we have 3, 4, 5 persons. And each of them is equally qualified. We can cast a lot. You want to select the Imam of the Masjid. And all of them are equally qualified. They are equally, learned. Their character is on the same pedestal. Their understanding of the religion is on the same pedestal. Their suitability is on the same pedestal. You can cast a lot to determine who takes that position. The same thing, al-aqaribu in the tazwij al-bint. You have relatives. A woman has her uncle, 3 uncles, paternal uncles, and all the paternal uncles have a right to marry her out. Perhaps all the 3 uncles have a man they prefer that she marries. So, and the woman is saying, okay, whomever you decide that I marry, I will agree and marry. The 3 uncles can cast a lot to determine who is from amongst the 3 uncles, paternal, that will determine who the girl marries, or who will determine who to marry the girl to. This is in situations where all things being equal, everybody is equally qualified. Everybody is equally satisfactory for that position. Then you can employ al-Qur'atu to determine who we should give. Or we have just one thing. We have one thing. So we can use it to determine al-hukukul mutasawiyatu. Rights that are equal. Everybody has equal rights to it. You can also use it to determine ta'yinul mulk or ta'yinul milk, to specify ownership. Who will own this thing? You can use it to determine who will do this thing. Okay, we are 3 boys. The 3 of us, we have a pen. 2 of us cannot own the pen at the same time. So who will we give this pen? You can employ al-Qur'atu to determine who we will give the pen. So al-Qur'a can be used to determine the ownership of something. Al-Qur'a can be can be employed to determine other issues, like issues of marriage, like issues of traveling, issues that are what ulama refer to as al-hukukul mutasawiyah. Everybody has equal rights in that matter, but we want to choose only one person to do it. We can employ al-Qur'atu to determine that affair. So our mother Āishah radiallahu anha said that anna nabiyya sallallahu alayhi wa sallam kana idha arada safaran, whenever he wanted to go upon a journey, aqra'a bayna nisa'ihi, he will employ al-Qur'atu, he will cast a lot to determine who from amongst his wife he will take on that journey. Our mother said, radiyallahu anha, فَأَقْرَأَ بَيْنَنَا فِي غَزْوَةِ الْمُرَيْسِيَةِ. So when we are going for Ghazwatul Muraisi, I'm sure we know what Al-Muraisi means. Al-Muraisi is the name of the well belonging to who? Banu Khuza'a or Banu Mustaliq. The name of their well is called what? Al-Muraisi. So because of that, the name of that battle itself was called Ghazwatul Al-Muraisi. So Āishah said, radiyallahu anha, فَأَقْرَأَ بَيْنَنَا فِي غَزْوَةِ الْمُرَيْسِيَةِ. So the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam employed al-Qur'an to determine amongst us, that is, he casted a lot to determine amongst us who are those who will go with him for that battle. فَخَرَجَ سَهْمِي. So my lot became determined. My lot came up. I was the one who won the lot casting. Halaka fiya man halaka. And then people who were destroyed regarding me became destroyed. I was the one who was chosen. I was the one who was selected. And that was the beginning. And the end was that people were destroyed as a result of my getting involved. I was the one who was selected. My selection came up. my lot emerged victorious. فَهَلَكَ فِيَّ مَنْ هَلَكَ. So those who became destroyed. Me. So those of them who were Muslims, who were known with genuine devotion to the religion, who were known with genuine devotion to the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, like Hassan ibn Thabit, like Hamna, who was the sister of Zainab bint Jahash, like Mistah, for whose sake Allah revealed a verse that appealed to Abu Bakr as-Siddiq to be patient over these incidents. So they were flogged 80 strokes of the king. They were flogged 80 because of what? Al-Qazf. Samanina Jalda. They were flogged 80. So, but as for the rest of them, they were destroyed. People like Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn Salul, Rasul Munafiqin. Those people got a lot of anger from Allah. May Allah protect all of us. So Āishah said, radiyallahu anha, أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم كان إذا أراد سفرا أقرأ بين نسائه فأقرأ بيننا في غزوة المريسية فخرج سهمي فهلك في من هلك. This is evidence. So regarding you, some people may become destroyed out of you because of you. Because of how they handle a matter regarding you, they can get destruction. May Allah protect all of us. Imām Adh-Dhahabi said, وَكَذَلِكَ ذَكَرَ ابن إحيد أَنَّ الْإِفْكَ مُرَيْسِيٌّ كَذَا ذَكَرَ ابن إسحاق كَذَلك. The same way we have said, I have said that al-Muraysiyya, al-Ifk, Qissatul Ifk, Sha'anul Ifk, the evil slander against Āishah happened after the battle of Muraysiyya. I am not the one who said that. كَذَلِكَ ذَكَرَ ibn Ishaq. That was the same thing that Ibn Ishaq, Muhammad ibn Ishaq ibn Yasar, that great historian of Islam, he also has that view. Wal-Waqidi. Likewise, Muhammad ibn Umar ibn Waqid al-Waqidi, he also has that view. What did they say? وَغَيْرُ وَاحِدٍ. And many others. What did they say? أَنَّ الْإِفْكِ. That the story of the slander against Āishah, كَانَ فِي غَزْوَةِ الْمُرَيْسِيَّةِ. It happened after the battle of Muraysiyah. It happened in the circumstance of they are returning from Ghazwatu Muraysiyah. So what really happened? Yunus, that is Yunus ibn Yazid, al-Imām Adh-Dhahabi will always tell us something about isnad. It is very common because we Muslims, we are not just telling narrations. We will say, how did those narrations, how did they come to us? How did they become transmitted to us? So that was why they will always mention isnad. So Yunus ibn Yazid al-Ayli was reporting from his Shaykh, and that was al-Imam ibn Shihab, Muhammad ibn Shihab, al-Imam al-Zuhri. Al-Imam al-Zuhri said, أخبرني عروة وابن المسيب وعلقمة ابن وقاص وعبيد الله ابن عبد الله عن حديث عائشة رضي الله عنها حين قال لها أهل الإفك ما قالوا فبرأها الله تعالى. Al-Imam al-Zuhri said, rahimahullah, أخبرني عروة. الزهري was a tabi'i, was from amongst the Sigar Tabi'in, very young amongst the Tabi'un. He said, أخبرني عروة, عروة ibn Zubayr, وابن المسيب, and Sa'id ibn al-Musayyib, number 2, وعلقمة ibn Waqqas, and Alqama ibn Waqqas, number 3, وعبيدullah ibn Abdullah, that is Ubaydullah ibn Abdullah ibn Utbah ibn Mas'ud. Utbah was the brother of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. He had a grandchild whose name was what? Ubaydullah. So he was Ubaydullah ibn Man, ibn Abdullah ibn Man, ibn Utbah ibn Mas'ud. It was from amongst the scholars of Medina. So Ibn Shihab bin Zuhri reported this hadith from 4 persons. The first of them, Urwa ibn Zubayr. The second one, Sa'id ibn al-Musayyib. The third one, Alqama ibn Waqqas al-Laythi. The fourth one, Ubaydullah ibn Abdullah. These were those from whom Al-Imam al-Zuhri reported. These 4 persons reported from who? Āishah. These 4 persons, Urwa, Sa'id ibn al-Musayyib, Ubaydullah ibn Abdullah, and Alqama ibn Waqqas, they all reported from Āishah. But the scholars of hadith have gone to research this matter. They say, apart from these 4, from whom Al-Zuhri has reported this hadith, there were 7 other people who reported this story from Āishah. Apart from these 4, Sa'id ibn al-Musayyib, Urwa ibn Zubayr, Alqama ibn Waqqas, Ubaydullah ibn Abdullah, apart from these 4, there were 7 others who reported this story from our mother Āishah. One of them was Amra bintu Abdurrahman. Another person was Abu Salama, the son of who? Abdurrahman ibn Awf. We also have Al-Qasim ibn Muhammad ibn Abi Bakr al-Siddiq. Abu Bakr al-Siddiq had a son called who? Muhammad. That was the boy who was born during Hajjatul Wada. That boy had a son. His name was what? Al-Qasim. Qasim also reported it from who? From his big paternal aunt, Āishah. Al-Qasim ibn Muhammad also reported it from Āishah. Likewise, Al-Aswad ibn Yazid and others. So about 11 people reported this story from our mother Āishah. Look at this ummah. 11 people reported a narration. And when you compare their narrations, you see they are narrating the same story. Radiyallahu anha. So our mother Āishah, radiyallahu. Okay, how about Āishah? Apart from Āishah, was this story of Ifk reported by any other person? Yes, she was the person to whom it happened. So the bulk of those who want to report it will go to who? They will go to her to go and listen to that narration from her. But there are others amongst the companions of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam who also reported that story. There were 6 in number. From amongst them was Abdullah ibn Zubayr. He reported the story. From amongst them was Abdullah ibn Abbas. He reported the story. Likewise, Abdullah ibn Umar. He reported the story. Likewise, Abu Huraira. He reported Qissatul Ifk. Likewise, Ruman, the mother of Āishah herself. She also reported the story. So what was it that happened? So Al-Imām Adh-Dhahabi said that I have reported all of these. And hadithi, all of these people reported the narration of Āishah to me. حِينَ قَالَ لَهَا أَهْلُ الْإِفْكِ مَا قَالُوا. When the people of slander and lies, we had told us that when you hear a big lie, a slanderous lie, what do you refer it as? We refer to as in Arabic. You call it what? Ifk. You don't just say kadhib. You say it is what? Ifk. A lie that is clear and determined to slander the other person. It will be called ifk. So when those people said what they said, فَبَرَّأَهَا اللَّهُ تَعَالَى, and Allah declared that she was innocent. Allah declared that she was innocent. Radiyallahu anha. Imam Zuhri said, وَكُلٌّ حَدَّثَنِي بِطَائِفَةٍ مِّنْ حَدِيثِهَا. each of these four that I have mentioned, Urwa ibn Zubayr, Sa'id ibn Musayyib, Ubaydullah ibn Abdullah ibn Utbah ibn Mas'ud, and who Alqamah ibn Waqqas, these four persons, each of them حدثني بطائفة من حديثها. He told me a part of the story. One will tell me one part, another one will tell me another part. وَبَعْضُ حَدِيثِهِمْ يُصَدِّقُ بَعْضًا. And the report of each of them was confirming and affirming the other person's narrations. Rahimahumullah. وَإِنْ كَانَ بَعْضُهُمْ أَوْعَى لَهُ مِنْ بَعْضٍ. Even though it was clear that some gave more lengthy, they had more reports to give than others. Some gave more details that others did not give. Do you understand? But the bulk of the story, what they were saying, would confirm. When they say the same thing, they will confirm themselves. But others, some have more details regarding that story. Others have less details regarding the story of our mother, Āishah radiallahu anha. So Al-Imām Adh-Dhahabi said, he brought these narrations together. So what was it that happened? Our mother Āishah, qalat, she said, we are still on page 153. We are on the second to the last line. Imām Adh-Dhahabi said, وَإِنْ كَانَ بَعْضُهُمْ أَوْعَى لَهُ مِنْ بَعْضٍ. Some of them had more reports. They had more narrations. They were more detailed than others. But on the whole of it, بَعْضُ حَدِيثِهِمْ يُصَدِّقُ بَعْضَهُ. Their reports will confirm one another. This one will report something, the other will report something. The same thing, it will confirm one another. Even though this one had more details, this one had more details. So what Az-Zuhri did was to put all the reports together in a single narration. That single narration is what we want to read about Qissatul Ifk. Qalat, our mother Āishah said, Kana Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, إِذَا أَرَادَ سَفَرًا أَقْرَأَ بَيْنَ نِسَائِهِ. Whenever the Prophet wanted to make a journey, he would cast a lot. He will do lot casting amongst his wife to determine who are those who will go with him on that journey. Don't forget, we have said that we cast lots in Islam regarding two things. The first one, al-hukuku al-mutasawiyatu. Those rights that are equal, meaning those things that people have equal rights. And those matters that are what? Ta'yinul al-milk. You want to determine ownership. Who owns this thing? We want to give out one phone. We have 10 persons. We want to give out one phone. We can cast a lot to determine who I will give the phone to. I hope that it is clear. Or that 3 of us want to go on a journey. We want to determine one person to go. We can cast the lot to determine that one person who will go on that journey. The Prophet used to do that amongst his wife. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. وَرَضِيَ اللَّهُ عَنْهُنَّ. Our mother Āishah said, فَأَيَّتُهُنَّ خَرَجَ سَهْمُهَا خَرَجَ بِهَا مَعَهُ. فَأَيَّتُهُنَّ. So any one of his wives, خَرَجَ سَهْمُهَا, that her lot became emergent, خَرَجَ بِهَا مَعَهُ. As a result of that, she will be the one to go out on that journey together with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. She said, فَأَقْرَأَ بَيْنَنَا فِي غَزْوَةٍ غَزَاهَا. We are on page 154 now. Our mother Āishah said, فَأَقْرَأَ بَيْنَنَا. So one day the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam did that Qur'an fi ghazwatin ghazaha, when he was going for one of the battles that he went for. Which battle was that? Ghazwatu al-Muraisi, or what? Or Ghazwatu Bani Mustalik. So that was that battle. She said, فَخَرَجَ سَهْمِي. So my lot emerged. فَخَرَجْتُ مَعَهُ. So I went out with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. بَعْدَمَا نَزَلَ الْحِجَابِ. These incidents happened after the verses on hijab had been revealed. So Ghazwat Mustalik, al-Muraysi happened when? After the verses of hijab had been revealed. That is that verse in Surah 2, Al-Ahzab, and that verse in Surah 2, Al-Ahzab Afani, the first verse in Al-Ahzab, and the second verse also in Al-Ahzab. Those are the two verses of hijab that show that a woman must cover everything on her body. He said in the first one, وَإِذَا سَأَلْتُمُهُنَّ مَتَاعًا فَاسْأَلُوهُنَّ مِنْ وَرَاءِ حِجَابٍ. Abi, this first verse on hijab. The second verse on hijab is also referred to as Ayatul Jalabib. يا أيها النبي كل أزواجك وبناتك ونساء المؤمنين يدنين عليهن من جلابيبهن. That was the second verse on Al-Hijab. So these verses came down before Ghazwatu Al-Muraysi. She said, فَخَرَجْتُ مَعَهُ. So I was the one who went on that journey with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. بَعْدَ مَا نَزَلَ الْحِجَابِ. And that incident happened after the hijab has been revealed. وَأَنَا. Don't forget, that also means that it happened after the marriage of Zainab bint Jahash. Because it was during the marriage of Zainab bint Jahash that the verse of hijab became revealed. Don't forget when Allah says that Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu la tadkhulu buyutan nabiy illa ayyudhana lakum illa ta'amin ghayra nadhirina ina walakin idha du'itum fadkhulu fa idha ta'imtum fantashiru wa la musta'nisina al-hadith. This happened during the marriage of who? Zainab. And it is still that marriage that hijab was revealed. So that means at that time, Zainab was already in the house as a wife of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam when ifk happened. That was why her sister Hamna was from amongst those who participated against who? Āishah. It was really a trial in her marriage. Ifk, Sha'nul Ifk, was a trial in the marriage of Āishah. As sweet as it was, as comfortable as it was for her, as full of consciousness for Allah, as full of knowledge, as full of righteousness that her marriage was with the Prophet ﷺ, it had its own trial. That marriage had its own trial. And this is what we are talking about. So she said, فَخَرَجْتُ مَعَهُ بَعْدَمَا نَزَلَ الْحِجَابِ. So I was the one who went out to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And that one happened بَعْدَمَا نَزَلَ الْحِجَابِ. After the verses and the rulings of Al-Hijab had been revealed. That would also mean that Zainab was already in the house, Zainab bint Jahsh. She said, radiyallahu anha, وَأَنَا أُحْمَلُ فِي هَوْدَجٍ وَأُنزَلُ فِيهِ. At that time, I used to be carried in a hawdaj. The hawdaj is like a small building. It's like a small construction. They put it on the beast of burden, on animals, like a small house. They will put woods, put that small house on top of the animals. So that when women come, they can enter that place and close themselves. So it will be as if they are in a car. And when the animals move, it will just be carrying the house. That structure like a house. That is what you will see. You will not see the women. That further shows that hijab necessitates completely covering a woman. That's what she was saying. That came after hijab. So because it came after hijab, I did not used to just walk. Everybody is seeing me. I used to be concealed. The basic rule about women is concealment. Oh, woman. Maybe we will have to stop here because of time. She said that came, the Battle of Muraysi came after the hijab had already been revealed. So at that time, أُحْمَلُ فِي هَوْدَجٍ. I used to be carried in a hawdaj. Radiyallahu anha. وَأُنزَلُ فِيهِ. And I used to be dropped when I was in a hawdaj. That is, they will carry me on top of the animal. I'll be going. Nobody will see me. Likewise, they will drop me again. Nobody will see me unless I'm going. So hijab necessitates that the woman is concealed The woman goes away and not become freely mixing with men. Hijab necessitates that the woman is not freely mixing with men. So even when they are traveling in a group, she and the wives, the women, they used to enter into the howdaj so that the men will not be seeing them. So women from so-so house, they are in so-so howdaj. Women from so-so house, they are in this. So women were not as women are today. So these days women, they are not veiling the faces, and yet you see them freely mixing with men. Freely mixing with men, talking to men, laughing with men, joking with men, laughing with men, and all of this. Trading with men, traveling with men without maharim. These are things that these righteous women would not do. I think that because of time, we should stop here so that we can attempt to take questions. The story of Ifk is a very, very lengthy one. We cannot finish it in a single reading. Very lengthy story. But we'll pick it up one after the other. We have started it today, inshallah. I hope that we'll proceed faster in our subsequent class, inshallah. Abu Abdurrahman.
Jazakallah khairan ya Shaykh. The first question here says, is the Quran of Shia different from us, since they always insult our mother Āishah radiallahu anha because of this incident?
The insult of the Shia against our mother Āishah was not on this incident alone. It was not on this incident alone. They did not also only used to insult she alone. They also even used to insult her father, Abu Bakr. They used to insult Umar, radiallahu anhu. They used to insult Uthman ibn Affan. They used to call the entirety of the companions kuffar. So it's not about Āishah alone. The problem of the Shia is not about Āishah. It's about Islam itself. The original aim of Shia and those who started it, the likes of Abdullah ibn Sabah, the original aim was to destroy Islam. It's not about Āishah alone. And it's not just about the Quran. It's about the companions, the Prophet, the deen itself. They wanted to uproot the deen. So if you uproot those who have conveyed the deen, what will be left? If you uproot those who brought the religion, you describe them bad. So what will be left with the religion? So the evil intention of the Shia was not just about this incident. It was about the religion itself, that they attempt to cast aspersions in the minds of the people about Islam. Don't forget, Abdullah ibn Sabah, the forerunner and the vanguard of the Shia, he has Jewish origins. He has Jewish origins. And there are reports that, in fact, he took a vow from amongst the Jews to mix with the Muslims and cause disaffection from amongst the Muslims. He took a vow to do that. Otherwise, not just Āishah. Didn't the Quran refer to the companions as radiyallahu anhum wa radu anhu? He even said as-sabiqun al-awwalun min al-muhajirin. He mentioned them as muhajirun and ansar. And yet these muhajirun and ansar, the Shia will refer to them as non-Muslims. So when you say to the Shia, then look here, Allah said about the companions that radiyallahu anhum wa radu anhu. Allah is radiyallahu anhum. Allah is pleased with muhajirun and ansar. Clear cut in the Quran. Wa radu anhu. The muhajirun and the ansar are also pleased with Allah. What will they say? They will say that the time when Allah was saying that, Allah did not know that they will become kuffar. That's another akidah with them. They refer to that as al-bada'a. That Allah would be ignorant of some things, a'udhu billah, and that after sometimes he will now know that thing. That itself also contradicts another verse of the Quran. Didn't Allah say to us that La yadhillu rabbi wa la yansa? Allah was never ignorant of anything. La yadhillu rabbi wa la yansa. He will not also forget. It is the knowledge of the creatures that will be absent. Then we will know. Then we will forget. These are human beings. But as for Allah, La yadhillu rabbi. My Lord was never ignorant. Wala yansa. And my Lord will not be faced with forgetfulness. Yet the Shia go to say that there are things that Allah does not know, and that later he will know them. That when he was saying about the companions, radiallahu anhum, he did not know that Allah did not know that the companions will become non-Muslims. So these go to make us understand that sometimes when some Muslims in the community, especially the academicians, amongst those who are studying Islam, most of those who are studying Islamic studies in many universities, they trivialize the evil of Shiism. They trivialize academicians, those studying Islamic studies, Arabic and all of these Islamic studies, in especially Nigerian universities and other universities where the Orientalists, who are the Orientalists? Non-Muslims who become scholars of Islam. You can imagine. So in places where these kinds of people have had a say, they always poison the minds of the academia in that community. They trivialize the evil of the Shia. They trivialize it. They be discussing Shiism as if it was a political difference amongst Muslims. So if the Quran says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah says, وَأَنَّ اللَّهَ قَدْ أَحَاطَ بِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ عِلْمًا. The knowledge of Allah encompasses all things. The Shia comes to tell you that no, there are some things that Allah does not know. Is this something political? Is this something that any reasonable, conscious Muslim, knowledgeable, good enough, worthy the name will take trivial? Those who ascribe ignorance to Allah, those who ascribe evil to the entirety of those who have transmitted the Quran itself. So back to the issue of the Shia is beyond Āishah. It's about destroying Islam from its roots. So they cast aspersion at the wives of the Prophet. They cast aspersion at the companions. They cast aspersion at Allah himself. So what is left? What is left? May Allah protect each and every one of us from the deviations of these people. Naam, Abu Abdurrahman.
Jazakumullah khair, ya Shaykh.
Ameen wa antum.
Another question says, what if the lot falls on one particular wife continuously? Does that mean she will be the only one traveling with the husband consecutively?
She's asking, if the lot falls, each time they cast a lot, they have 4 wives. Each of the 4 is qualified for the journey. And each time they cast a lot, it comes to one of the wives. Someone is asking, does it mean is that wife alone who will be traveling? I ask, if that wife alone is traveling, is that unjust and unfair? Abu Abdurrahman, is it unjust and unfair if after casting the lot, she's the one that her lot emerges? Is that unjust? Is that unjust to others?
It's not, sir.
If it is not unjust, it is justice, then she will be the one traveling. So let's not bring sentiments into it and emotions. If she's the one, you are casting the lot, she's the one. You cast the lot, she's the one. Then she's the one. You too pray to Allah that your lot should emerge. But if you bring sentiment to it, you cause confusion. You want to employ injustice to remove justice because of your own personal proclivities and desires. then that is not appropriate. May Allah protect us. So if you cast lot 10 times, and on all the 10 occasions, just a single wife becomes emergent, then she's the one who should go with the husband on the journey. The rest of them should remain at home saying, Subhanallah wa bihamdihi Subhanallahil azim. And there will be any rewards to each other. About Rahman, are you listening? I mean,
still on lot, sir.
Okay.
This one says the man casts a lot.
Now, what did you say?
Can a man cast a lot? Can a man cast a lot if he wants to give his wife's gift?
Yes. You have, for example, 2 wives. And it is just one thing that is available. It happens. The husband goes out. Someone gives him one single unit of perfume. And he wants to hand over this perfume to any of his wives. How does he determine the wife that gets the perfume? You can draw a lot. And the woman whose lot emerges takes the perfume. Yes, it's allowed. It's allowed in this circumstance. But if the gift, if it is the husband who ordinarily wants to give the women, then he should provide gifts for everybody. Every woman has a right to gifts. I hope that the differentiation is clear. Abu Abdurrahman.
No, ya Sheikh.
Was that answer clear?
No, ya Sheikh.
There is a question here. Yes, that's the question I wanted to pick. Does interaction between men and women online also amount to ikhtilat, since they are not mingling physically? Ikhtilat is not restricted to physical mingling, because there's actually mingling going on when you begin to chat and gist and play with a man online. How are you? How was your night? How was your day? You begin to say things that are irrelevant and unnecessarily personal. How was this? And then you turn it into, you gradually snowballs into clear-cut interactions that are unlawful. Many of the scholars in our own times who know chatting, they have given that fatwa. Chatting with a man brings about ikhtilat. Don't do it, especially when it has to do with all these issues of trade matters. By the time you know it, you're already into it. May Allah protect all of us. Be careful about your dealings with the people generally. As minimal as possible, your interactions should be with the men who are not from your maharim. You should that interaction with your husband now. Pay that attention to your husband. Chat with your husband. That one has no limits. Even when you chat with your brother, your uncle, your sons, it has limits. But when you are chatting with your husband, you can discuss everything that a man can discuss with his wife, and everything that a woman can discuss with her husband. So pay attention, chat. Is this Abu Rahman, are you with me? Assalamu alaikum. Abu Rahman, are you with me? I think we can call it a day today, inshallah. We'll come back to the stuff of ifk regarding our mother Āishah radiallahu anha in our سبحانك اللهم